Hello, it's Steve here again from the Studio One Soapbox. In today's video, I want to talk about something that isn't discussed too often, and that is when to throw in the towel and when to admit defeat when you're sent a mix that has just not been recorded properly. You've been sent the stems and you're finding all sorts of problems cropping up all over the place, and you now become a detective and you're trying to work out what on earth has went wrong with this mix. And so I want to talk about that just for a short video if you don't mind. So what I'm going to do is, firstly, I'm going to play the scratch track that was sent. Obviously this is sent as though the band is very happy with how it was recorded, but I'm not going to say anything just yet. I'm going to play this back. Just listen, tell me what you think is wrong with it. Okay, I think everybody should have heard what's wrong with that. And the thing is, it's distorted. The whole song is completely distorted. Um, can I rescue this song? Well, I have spent a good hour, firstly, trying to find out what was wrong with it, and secondly, trying to fix a few things. So, as usual, I've got everything in my buses here, as I like to do. If we just investigate the drums alone, as you can see, another thing that I really dislike, I have to say, is when a band refuses to commit to a sound. And this is what you end up with. As you can see, I have 3 kick drums. All of them are terrible, the way they've been recorded. I've got a snare top and a snare bottom. Here is a snare top. Here's a snare bottom. A hi-hat, a ride, mic, toms, no problem. But when it came to the overheads, someone just went to the mic cupboard and lifted out a whole load of mics and decided, let's record these different mics and we'll pick out which one we like on the overheads later. So as you can see, if I open up our track here, on the first overhead we have a CU29 copperhead. So if we go online here and we look at the CU29 copperhead, we can see it's from Telefunken. And a lot of these microphones that have been used in this recording seem to be from Telefunken. So obviously, it said in the notes about Telefunken going through API preamps. So obviously they were at a studio and had some choice gear, went to the cupboard, found a load of Telefunken, different mics, and thought, let's go for it. But, that is not a good idea. There's certain microphones that just work. We all know that. Classic SM57 on a guitar cabinet, things like that. But this one here, as you can see, it says delicate and intimate air in the high end. Is that really what we want on our overhead mics? It's a bit debatable. We've got a 20-20, so it's full away. Who's using the microphone? Some of these people. About the mic, offers a warm, well-rounded low end, accented by a delicate and intimate air in the high end. The clarity and detail unsurpassed by any other microphone near its surprisingly low price range. Now they say surprisingly low price, but I know this thing goes for about 1,000 or so, £1,200. So it's not exactly cheap. And it just goes to show that thinking that because a microphone is expensive, slap it on there and everything is going to be fantastic. I can tell you that is not the case. That is not how microphones work at all. So that's one of the microphones that were used. Go back to our mix. So that was one set of overheads with that copperhead mic. our second set with an Elam 260. Let's go back online a second. Elam 260. I have a couple of microphones up here. Here we go. The Elam 260, as you can see, looks like a pencil condenser microphone. Is arguably one of the leading finest acoustic and classic recording tube mics. There we go. You know, really, yes, of course, as I've already stated, you can use any microphone at all for anything, but is it going to give you the sound you're after? Is it going to be suitable to capture that particular sound? That is what you need to ask yourself. And of course, this is another expensive microphone. I think it's over £1,000 as well. But it's talking about acoustic instruments. Just highlight here, cello, bass, upright. It says drum overheads. So they're thinking that it can be used for that. And to be honest, in the mix itself, they were one of the ones that I preferred. Was the Elam 260s out of them all. So we'll see if I can just solo my drums here a second. And if I can just solo out those Elam 260s. There's the first one. I'll just play these for you. Hold on, I'll turn those up. Bear with me a second. Let's shift those up so that you can hear them in the mix. Okay, so not bad. Not too bad at all. So they were the ones that I preferred the most. Let's drop them back down to 12.1. These ones I wasn't so keen on. Let me get those. I think this is the Copperhead. Let's bring those up. Let's play those back. Again, not too bad either, but obviously being a bigger microphone catches far more off the low end. Not necessarily what we want in our overheads. It does depend on the track, it does depend on the mix, but in this case, not really what we were looking for. And on the other hand, we have now going for an AR750 STE, which is made for overheads. Wasn't too bad, these either. Let's have a little listen to these. Let's boot them up. Have a listen to these. Okay, so again, not really what I'm looking for in the mix. Not bad, I suppose, but again, doesn't really suit the track. So if I can just make sure I've got my overheads back on. Sorry about this, bear with me a little second. Yeah. Let's mute those two. Okay, that's it. Yes, sorry about that. Just checking I have those drums set again. So again, let's have a little refresh of what the track was that the band seemingly were quite happy with. Here we go. Yep, very much distorted. If we bring up our meters, we just have a look. We'll have a look at our dynamics here. Let's play this back again. So as you can see, our dynamics are around 4 and 5. We pretty much squashed. Another problem with the mix was when it came to the kick drum. So if I mute that, go to our kick drum. Now I've had to do a lot of work on the mic trying to stop it. What has happened here is they used, in this case, an M80 mic. Let's see if we can get a picture of that up. M80, is this it? This is it. And as you can see, it's just a condenser microphone, suitable for voice. It does say instruments and it does say or drums, but generally this is heading for vocals. As you can see, microphone, and that is ideal for live vocal applications. Would I put a microphone like this on a kick drum? No way. No way would I put it on. And what has happened in this particular mix is that it has been overloaded, and you can hear towards the end of this little section, you can hear where the mic has just been overloaded with sound, and it's actually clipped the meters. I don't know why no one picked that up, why no one picked up about the amount of distortion in this track, either when they finished it, whether they mastered it or mixed it, but certainly a lot of wrong microphone choices, I would say here. An expensive mics, but just the wrong mic for the task. So if I take off everything I've done here and I play back this kick mic, see if I can get you some idea. I think it clips towards the end here, so I'll try and go for the end section. Let's turn that up so you can hear it. Okay, so it's kind of holding it down, but then when the drummer kicks in at the end here, there it is, overloaded the mic a few times. You know, so basically that track is more or less useless. Yes, I can fix it, but it would take a lot of work, and would the band be happy with what I have done to it? It's hard to say. If we pull up our meter and I try to get that at a certain level, let's play that again. Try for the Jack here King method of hitting -3. So say thereabouts. Now let's see as we get towards the end where it really kicks in. Let's see if it clips again. Okay, so what I've had to do was auto align is just doing some phase adjustment and time delay. I've had to stick on an L1 limiter. Let me just get it up. Oh, a few issues here. There we go. Just to catch those peaks whenever he really lathers in to the kick drum on those last couple of beats and overloads that microphone, you know, it just sends it off the scale. I have no other way of telling how this was recorded, but I do know that they used API preamps and a lot of these Telefunken microphones, but I would never put that on a kick. Now, what we do have on a kick is a U47. Now, if I can find the U47, where are we? Must be the last tab. Here we go. Is a U47. Quite a classic microphone, quite an expensive microphone, but There is two different types. I don't know if it was just the ordinary U47, which is the remake, or the U47 FAT, the FAT, which everybody knows is a classic for kick drums, especially on the outside head of the drum, the resonant head. Putting that there and placing a microphone inside the drum to catch the beater head, you can blend those two and get a beautiful kick drum. It's been done many times as a bit of a classic. In this case, I think what they've actually used is this U47. Not exactly the same thing at all. It's talking about vocals to guitar sounds to full orchestra, beautiful backing vocals. You know, not really the U47 that goes on a kick drum. So, again, bad choice. As you can see, had to do a bit of work on that. The same thing. Unfortunately, this was pulled back from the kit as well. You can hear there's a lot of bleed. If I solo that and play that back for you. Hear how dynamic that got? It just doesn't sound good at all, does it? And as he kicks in at the end, so that sounds terrible as well. Put that back down to 12.1 where we had it. I really wish that we could have a little click here and just return back to your fader, an undo feature on your fader. Please, Presonus, would you bring that in? Because sometimes you're moving faders up and down and you had it in a good spot, but for whatever reason you thought you might try a few adjustments, have a few guesses as to maybe this might work a little better, then you can't remember where you had it. So a little right click and an undo on the fader. Excellent. Thank you, Presonus. Please bring that in the future. Lovely jubbly. Lots of problems with this mix. Firstly, wrong microphone choices. Secondly, especially on overheads, and the same thing on guitars. I can show you here as well. This is actually one guitar part, and it has different microphones on it. You can see one guitar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 5 other parts where they couldn't make up a mind as to what microphone they should use on it, or there's actually a guitar room as well on this track. So lots of indecision here by the band. Maybe they've hired the studio and have thought to themselves, oh, there's loads of lovely gear here, let's try this, let's try that. You know, if you're paying for it, it is a temptation to try and use everything there is, thinking that this will give you a better sound using all this professional gear. But there's the way things work, and there's tried and tested methods, and that is what we like to adhere to. You know, if you start going off on a tangent, you can end up with a mess. So we have distortion throughout, we have wrong microphone choices, we have too many microphone choices, we have microphones being overloaded with the sound, just a condenser mic, a vocal mic on a kick drum, just overloaded it, and so many things going on. It's just badly distorted. The dynamics are squashed completely out of the song. So I've spent an hour messing around with this track, deciding, should I work with it, should I not work with it? Even on the bass guitar, we have a DI. We have 2 microphones on a bass cabinet as well. Keys, I'm not quite sure what they are, some sort of synthesizer by the looks of it. Backing vocals, again, backing vocals with different microphones. There is just 2 parts, but as you can see, we've another 4 parts, recorded the same thing on different microphones. Just the indecision and trying to leave it to the mixer to then decide, oh, here you go, here's a loads of options. You pick out whichever you think you can work best with. You know, on this occasion, you could work away and try and create something. So if I can just double check, bear with me a little second, just double check I've got everything back where it was. And I'll now play you back my hour's worth of work trying to take all the distortion out of these tracks and give us something that still has some dynamics, and try and listen to it. And then I'll try and flick back and forth with the track that the band, I would imagine, were quite happy with. Maybe it was the final mix, maybe it was just a scratch track, I don't know, but it was sent with it, and therefore you would imagine the band was happy with this, and they're saying this is the way we think it should go. So firstly, I'll play their mix, and then I'll try and flick quickly. I'm going to have to turn on my processing. I should have set this up a bit better. I should have did a submix. Sorry about that. But just to show you, you can be sent mixes and you're trying to work out what is wrong with this thing. Then you delve in, you're trying to fix it, and you realize, hold on a second, too much time being spent to try and fix a really badly recorded piece of work, and just to throw in the towel and just say, look, I'm very, very sorry, but I can't mix this. It's badly recorded. These are things that happen in modern mixing, just with levels. You've got to stay on your gate staging, people. We say it all the time, don't we? So let me play this. This is their scratch track, and you can see the dynamics again. Here we go. So you can see the dynamics, there's very little there. Now, if I mute this and we hear what I had done, let me turn on my processing on my mix bus, and this is what I had done. Now, there's not a lot of mixing here, there's just a lot of balancing and a lot of trying to contain that kick drum, which is overloaded microphones and that type of thing. So here we go. So you can see our dynamics are up to 7 to 8. And we seem to have lost quite a lot of the distortion as well. Okay, so I could work on with this and try to fix it all, but there's other microphones have been overloaded on the guitars and stuff like that, I think. And you're trying to fix something that is possibly unfixable because it was recorded so badly. And what every mixer hates is the band refusing to commit to something and leaving loads of choices for you to try and pick out what you think would be the best sound, as in this case, what is the best set of overhead microphones to use. So I've just thrown in the towel on this occasion and just obviously refused to mix this, but I will keep this song and do ideas for the mix, the low end bass, which is what this video was really going to be, but I just wanted to share with you how you can be sent things. It can give you endless headaches, endless problems, and you end up being a detective trying to work out what on earth is wrong with this mix. So don't be afraid to just say, I'm sorry, I'm defeated on this occasion, because you could work away on this and you could be accused of doing a bad mix whenever the recording you were sent was bad to start with. And do you really want that to happen? Because they can spread the word around and say, oh, we sent it to such and such and he did such a terrible job on it, when really it wasn't you per se, but just a badly recorded piece of work. So stay on top of this. A message to all bands: please commit to a sound. Please cut down the choices. Please watch your gain staging. Choose the right microphones for the right job, and just do your best to try and get a nice dynamic recording that hasn't been squashed the life out of, and then send it on to a mixer and he can hopefully polish it up and turn it into something lovely. Then send it on to a master engineer who does their sprinkle of magic on it, and you can end up with a beautiful dynamic track in this loudest wars nonsense that we have now, where we just get tracks, compress the life out, and no dynamics, and we wonder why we can't listen to those songs for long periods of time without getting ear fatigue. So, thankfully, I think the loudness wars are coming back around, and we're heading towards a more dynamic world, hopefully. So, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for sharing this with me, and I'll catch you in the next video. Happy mixing. Thank you.